And we're ready. Hey, good morning, everybody. Let me click record here. So many things to do when you're back home in your saddle. Um, wow, glad you're safe. Just got a note from Ray Higdon. Hey, hope everybody's doing well. Good morning, everybody. It is March 17th. It is a Tuesday. I'm back at home in Dallas, and got a message last night that one of my team members that was going back to Honduras actually is stuck in Costa Rica because they closed the border. So I'm sure where you're at, there's some amazing challenges that are happening, and just wanted to send you blessings and hope everybody sends a little note to each other. Go ahead and send out your 3 messages now. For anybody that's new on the call, we send out 3 messages of joy, of gratitude, of peace to friends and family, of those people that we're thinking about. There's just a lot of stress in the world right now, and if you can send out a little note of gratitude, it opens up and gives you more place for space for your own days and for your own messages. I had a pretty amazing day yesterday, but we'll see if there's time to get to that. But I want to check in on you this morning. There's some things there's decisions we're all going to need to make as we move through this process. That's outside of our control. But Epictetus said, right, in the book, The Manual, decide what's within your control, decide what's outside of your control, and then just focus on what's in your control. You have a responsibility to be the one that stays in control, stays the one that stays the course, and does the right things by you and your family. So hope everybody's doing well. Yeah, it's an amazing time right now to be a conscious observer and to do what you can to make the world a better place. We're taking this 3D world and we're putting it into a 2D world, and we're putting ourselves in places of isolation. And the challenge is it's not like we have a lack of information. So connections are going to be critical. The connections we have, some of us are realizing some people may have not have been as close of a contact as we thought they were. Other people are looking for a solution. There's been in the last 24 hours, just in my team, there's major transition of women connecting and keeping in touch with each other and starting to do things together, because we're going to need that sensibility. Follow me on this. We're going to need that sensibility. We're going to need that level of calm, cool. I don't want to say, what's the word I'm looking for? Calm, cool, authority that comes from a woman, that comes through a woman. How many of us, so type an L in the chat if when you were growing up, your mama was ever able to give you the look. Type an L in the chat if you ever get the look. So we know that exists, and we as a society, we as a global community, we're gonna need the look, right, to just calm this pandemonium down. So I say that to say, I've watched my team grow here in the last 24 hours because they've gotten back to their home countries, and they've just started to say, listen, we've got to take care of ourselves. We've got to make sure that we can as a community be responsible to each other and be responsible for the actions that we do, that they're the best actions possible. It's time to become the best mom ever, meaning using your skills that you used inside, that you used internally, that you used in your own home, to bring some order to the world, right? Imagine you walking in on a daycare and all of the kids are running around absolutely going ape crazy, and you get to be that calming voice, right? So that's just a little aside note. I do pray for everybody. I hope your prayers are for you, because it's okay to pray for you. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay for you to be in a place of safety and security. To pray for the world is an amazing thing. Yes, that's great. But I would also ask you to pray for yourself, whatever that looks like: meditation, belief, silence, gratitude, um, reading a good book. Just be good to you right now, right? Because that's your responsibility. Be good to you, right? Leslie Hebert says that all the time. Go be good to you. So that being said, good morning, everybody. I just like to do a check-in. Is anybody anybody need some prayers for them? Anybody need a little support? Anybody got some fears going on that we could just, as a community, you don't have to talk about them, or you can if you want, but it's important that you understand the strength that you have, right? When they talk to SEALs and they interview the SEAL teams who are going through, I think it's SUD training, when they ring the bell, they've been doing studies on them. They've been doing research on these amazing athletes who absolutely go into this class and go into this training. And when they ring out, they're looking at them and they're realizing they've only gone about 40, maybe 50% of the way to what their body and mind is capable of. And they're ringing out of SEAL training. I mean, absolutely just ground them into the dirt, and we're only about halfway there. So the mind is this amazing thing that does everything it can to protect you, to keep you safe. The challenge is when it gets into that scared state, it can really go sideways on us, and it can cause us to ring out a little bit early. So I would ask you to start to, in your prayers, in your meditation, in your quiet time, start to really look at the strength you have. Start to really look at the resources you have as far as your mindset and your language and your skill set of what you've been through, what you're capable of. Because we're going to need strong people just like you. We've always needed you. The challenge is that we lived in an average world. We no longer live in an average world. We no longer live in a normal world. We no longer live in a place that anybody will recognize, because communications, connections, conversations, all of this is absolutely the most amazing time to become the leaders that we need to be. When crisis shows up, so do leaders. You're absolutely right, Brittnee. It's a time to thrive. And the only way we're going to thrive is by helping others see their own light. I got to tell you, yesterday for me was absolutely an unbelievable day. I had three people come into my life that would have never happened at any other time in the history of the world. I just have no idea. It's still an unbelievable. Let me put it this way. Walking through the airport, I get to the gate and a guy comes up to me and he says, "So who are you?" Now, you guys kind of know me. I love to play with that question. I hear the question and I go, "Well, that's I'm not sure if you have enough time, but if you could do me a favor, if you know who I am, I would love for you to tell me." And the guy kind of looks at me, right? He gives me that I'm talking to Sean look. Anyways, long story short, one of the flight attendants recognized me. And they go, because they think you're a movie star. They know you. They know you from somewhere. Long story short, one of them recognized me from 8 years ago when I spoke in Quito, Ecuador, for a network marketing company. I'm like, okay. And then she hands me a card. So we have a little conversation. She says, I've been following you for 8 years. I think we're friends on Facebook. I watch your videos. I love your stuff. I'm like, oh my goodness. And then I sit next to a gentleman, long story short, who has about 4 or 5 epiphanies while we're sitting on the plane in our 3-hour flight home. It was just individual after individual after individual. I think there's going to be there's the two ends of the spectrum. We're going to have a little division that takes place. Those that were wanting to be open are going to be wildly open, and those that were going to want to be closed are going to go down to the closed way. We're having the polarization, right? We talk about that in marketing. Polarized to magnetize. So we want to polarize people. They're either on this side or that side. Funny how all the arguments that were happening earlier about Democrat or Republican or this policy works or that policy works. Funny how that stuff seems to fly out the window when we have a bigger common enemy. And the common enemy that's happening right now is health, but it's this whole perception. It's a reality. Perception is reality. Is that there's fear. And fear and doubt is knocking on the door. Here's the challenge. Fear and doubt knocks on the home of faith and courage. Faith and courage open the door. No one is there. So there's going to be some things that we see, a resurgence of things. You see the videos of people communicating and singing on porches in Italy. This conversation of people getting back together again, people knowing their community again, people realizing how short life is, people realizing that this whole thing about what they were doing wasn't what they were needing. So, again, I'm just checking in on everybody to make sure that, if you need some prayers, just type a P in the chat and we're not going to, maybe we will, but let us say some prayers for you. Let us pass some good energy on to you. If you've got some family members who are scared or something like that, it's okay. It's okay. So that being said, anybody have, and check the chat, folks, as you see, there's a P there, just check the chat and just say some prayers for folks. Just let them know we love them. I hope I'm on all y'all's prayer lists. I'll put a P in there just for the conversation. Don't forget me in your prayers, because I do my best to keep you all there. So anybody have any awakenings or ahas or awarenesses that have happened to them that they'd like to share? They got questions on, because I think what's going to happen, I think what's going to be, what can happen is that there's going to be a quantum movement in energy. People are going to make decisions faster. People are going to come to decisions faster. People are going to be using a lot more heart to make decisions. They're going to think it's their head, but their options are going away. Their options are going away. And you have to be the calm one that can still offer options, not do this and this alone. Give people the chance to offer options. How would you sign people up easier thanks to what's going on? Okay. So, yeah, distractions are going away. The attraction to the distraction to Facebook. I'd love to see the numbers. Yeah, of what was 4 weeks ago to what it is now, of just some social media stuff. So how would you sign people up easier thanks to what's going on? So, Matthias, I think I'm saying that right. Probably not. The key is, right now, you wouldn't be signing them up. Listen to the language. You might be enrolling them in something, right? if you enroll them in something, the thing that makes it easier to enroll them into. So here's some criteria I think probably need to be met. With everybody possibly being either underemployed or retired, you might make it easier for people to enroll if you can show them the ROI. That's all anybody's going to be concerned about here, especially going forward. The next 4 or 5 days, when their forced vacation pay starts to go sideways or starts to get diminished, or their compensation, they've been forced to go home. A lot of people are like servers and younger folks who work in the food business, the food service industry. They're not getting paid their $2.16 an hour when they go home. They're just flat out broke. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday in Serbia, and her name is Masa, and she runs kind of a yoga meditation center in Serbia. And I sent her a message of love yesterday, and she said, "Thank you, Sean. I appreciate you. I love you tons." She said they're closing all of the restaurants and everything's here in Serbia tomorrow, and many people are just they're without income. She says, "I understand it." She said, "But now is a time for yoga." And the challenge is, and I absolutely loved her statement. I asked her to come on, and she'll be on here in probably the next 1 or 2 days. And the reason is most people think yoga is stretching and just it's about making your body flexible. Yoga means becoming one. And Germany's in lockdown, borders closed. Yeah, like I said, one of my team members is stuck in Costa Rica. Thank goodness we have friends there. She has friends there, right? Team members. She can't get back to Honduras for 7 to 15 days. So Germany's in lockdown. What is the preparedness that people are wishing they could have done that you can give them? That may be something to dwell on. What is the preparedness people are wishing they had done that you can give them? The biggest thing, right? Food will continue. Yeah, we've had a run on it, right? People are stockpiling. But it's not like we've closed the trucks. It's not like we're at war and somebody ain't going out. Follow me on this. There's going to be some delays. So people should have put their 72-hour pack together, their bug out bag together. There's all of these things they should have, could have done. But the one thing they all know they should have done when it starts to come to income is not spend any money. So this is still kind of to the question of enrollment. They know they shouldn't have spent money on this. They're going to beat themselves up about the vacation they went on. They're going to beat themselves up about the Christmas gifts they bought. They're going to go into this blame game of shoulda, coulda, woulda. I made a mistake. Why did I do that? Because there was a point at which they thought they were maybe spending too much, or they didn't save enough, or maybe, all of these things. Here's where you, as somebody who's the calm, sensible one in the conversation, have any of us who have been working on ourselves pretty darn hard for a long time, have any of us asked, why is this the best moment in time? Because we've asked why it's the worst moment in time. We've been given 1,001 reasons to think of why this is horrible, why it's terrible. So what if we do affirmations about this right now? Why are you the best, Matthias? Why are you the best at enrolling people right now? if you were to work on yourself and answer that question, what would be the reasons you would come up with? Or what would be the skills or talents you would need to adapt and adopt to get to that level? Why did I have the conversations yesterday? Why did the flight attendant recognize me? Why did the gentleman sitting next to me? Why were we were able to release 4 or 5 major life issues in a 3-hour ride he hadn't been able to do in 15 years? Why did a guy who came up to me because he heard the flight attendants talking about who is he? He's a movie star. He's got to be somebody. He's an actor. I know him. I see him on TV. Well, she saw me on a screen. But he comes up to me and we talk for about 10 minutes. And Donald and I are like best friends now. And he says, he says, you teach people how to start business? I said, yes, I do. He says, I need your help. I need you to teach me. I need to do what you do. I said, great. When you get back to Phoenix, we'll get you started. He says, I need it. Cause right now, he says, I probably have 3 more weeks of pay. Why did all of these things come to me yesterday? And I promise you, I was standing still. Because people need you and your confidence. I was standing still. The gentleman who sat next to me, who said, this is one of the most incredible conversations I've ever had, was supposed to be on a flight earlier yesterday morning to go to Phoenix, and that flight got delayed, and they thought it was going to get canceled, so they put him on my flight. Him and his bride of 37 years, Veronica, always fly together. They sit together. He said, but they had one seat here and one seat in coach. And he said, my bride let me have this seat because I've just come out of some major illness, so on and so forth. I said, are you going to, I said, what do you think your bride's going to say when she realizes the conversation you and I just had? He said, I don't even believe the conversation we just had. He said, this is so divine intervention. I can't, he said, because I've been asking these questions while we were on vacation here, and there's some things that are going on, and a couple of things we just changed the perspective, right? Wayne Dyered his conversation, changed the way we looked at things. And he said, he says, I don't know the last time I felt this feeling of freedom. I said, even with what's all going on? He says, even with what's all going on. That's what I'm sitting here just absolutely bewildered about. He said, I've never felt so free. So here's the question. Did I give him his freedom, or did he give him his freedom? That's what I'm going to ask you to pay attention to right now. Who is locking you up? What story, what thought, what counterfeit belief is going through your head that's putting you in prison? Yeah, I showed him the keys he already had on his belt, Brittnee. And he decided to use them. I go, you're in the cell. You got the keys. It's one of those things. Imagine this. Imagine you're knocking on a door. You're knocking on a door to get out. You're knocking on a door to get out. You're knocking on a door to get out. And when you open the door, you were already out. It's the illusion of knocking. It's the illusion of busy. It's the illusion of distraction. Because you're like in one of those cartoons where there's nothing on either side of the door in the frame. There's no walls. There's nothing else. You're standing in front of the door. If you just took a step this way, what would help you get around that block? Shammi, you got your hand up, my love. Good morning, super mom.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It was actually, you mentioned in the beginning, yoga and meditation. The other day, I remember a lot of people were interested in meditation, and I actually, a few years back, I got really into yoga and took quite a few classes. And this morning, lately that I've been doing meditating, I do like 10-15 minutes. But this morning, I was like, you know what, I woke up extra early, And I was like, I'm gonna do at least 45 minutes. And um, while I was doing that, kind of in the middle, I just remembered the breathing techniques that I was taught a few years ago that I haven't, to be honest, I haven't even, it popped up back in my mind today because I wasn't concentrating at all when I was trying to meditate. So once I remembered and I started breathing differently, it just completely changed my meditation. So I wanted to since you mentioned it, I wanted to maybe give that tip. Uh-oh. 1 second.
So Shammi got called to mom duty. She'll come back with that tip here in just a moment. You know,
Yeah.
okay, go
Um,
ahead.
um, so I just wanted to give that tip real quick. Um, when we breathe, it's kind of shallow, and it's like our normal way of breathing, so we don't even notice it. But at least when you're doing meditation, if you want to kind of go deeper into your breath and concentrate better, um, typically when we breathe in, our stomach goes out, and when we breathe out, our stomach goes in. And I learned that it should be backwards. When we breathe in, our stomach should um contract and go in. And you kind of, it's crazy because when you breathe in that way, your whole body kind of breathes with you. So you feel your whole body like lift up, and you breathe in your stomach in to like tighten your stomach, and then when you breathe out, then your stomach goes out, and you actually get to breathe out for longer, and it like just your whole body and mind kind of changes. And also when I meditate, I use more of my nose so that I can get more oxygen flow to my brain, and you concentrate way better, and it feels so much relaxing. And it's crazy because I've been known this, but since I stopped practicing meditation and yoga, I completely forgot about it until today that did that long period of meditation. And once I did that breathing pattern, it made my meditation a lot better. So I thought I would give that tip.
You're absolutely right, Shammi. Thank you for sharing that. It's and so then this brings the question, what are we what have we forgot that we're not doing? What have we forgotten that we're not doing? That's the key to understand this. So let me take you all on a quick exercise. None of you that are driving, please participate in this. Do not participate in this if you're driving. But I want you all to do me a favor real quick. And those of you that are driving can practice this later. I want you to just pay attention. I'm going to ask you to put your hands out. They don't have to be on your laps. They can be on your laps, but you can just put them out. Just put them out. And what I want you to do is you don't even have to close your eyes. I want you to just breathe a little bit, take a couple of breaths with your hands, palms down. If you can close your eyes, it doesn't hurt. And then what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm just going to say now. And when I say now, I just want you to take your hands and I want you to do this. Just turn them over. And then I'm going to say now, and you're going to turn them back. And then I want you to just notice what happens in your body. So go ahead and start breathing. Take some breaths. Now, flip your hands. Breathe. Now, turn your hands back. Breathe. And one more time. Now, flip your hands. Okay, open your eyes. What did you experience? Did anybody feel anything? Yeah, Kenzie. Do you realize that just this is what yoga is. This is what yoga is. Yoga means connected. Doesn't mean going to buy a fancy mat and some neat leggings and tights to show your beautiful derriere off. It means connected. It just means connected. And when just the simple, see, your body is wanting you to be connected. And just this simple changes the way you felt breathing. Funny how it also means palms up, of blessing, of receiving. Of receiving. So there's a lot to this. I would encourage you in this time of isolation or lack of, or what's the nice word they're using? Social distancing. In this time of oneness, you being the one you're being with the most, I would encourage you to spend some time working on your own skill set. Now, I will say this, because of technology, because of the ability of people to still communicate, if any of you are having this thought, this desire to start a community, do it. When two of you or more show up, I am there. And it ain't me that's the I. God is there. When you start to speak the word to each other, we saw this happen the other day, and Shammi just absolutely flicked us in the middle of our third eye the other day when she just typed in. We were having this conversation that was just absolutely amazing and incredible, and Shammi types in holy, holy, Holy Spirit. So it's a pretty amazing time. Hey, Julie. Hello, my love. You've got your hand up.
I forgot my question. Good morning. I forgot my question, Sean. Come back to me later.
Oh, okay, but don't go anywhere for just a second.
Okay.
So here's the thing I didn't forget. I love you.
I love you too. I love all of you. Thank you so much. Mr. Family. Let's stay strong.
Cool. During the period, how could we effectively enroll through social media? Be a source. Right now, Christian, people are thinking, people are losing the thing that they had. They're losing the thing they didn't like at all. Many people didn't like their job. And they didn't like their job. And now they lost it. And now it's kind of like a bad relationship. When they go away, it's like, well, what do I mean, they were better than nothing. So the challenge with social media is, I don't want to say it's too early, but here's the thing with social media. They're going to go look at your resume. And your resume is everything you've posted on social media. And this is why I'm telling you, I want to do my best here to love you through this process. You can't blame yourself for what you did. I can get mad at you for what you're about to do if it's not the thing you want to do, if it's not the thing you're trying to portray, because what you've portrayed in the past ain't going to work now. Many of you, your social media is not going to inspire anybody to say, this is somebody who cares. This is somebody who makes a difference in the world. This is somebody who's shown me their heart. So what do I do today? How do I gain eyeballs today? Talk about your fear. Talk about what you're doing to there's a big word, I'm not sure what it is, to something to calm your fears. Talk about the community you're a part of. Talk about your team. I don't have a team. Yeah, you do. Your team is anybody who helps you move forward in your worthy desire of a goal. Be vulnerable with a solution, Manny. I agree. Be vulnerable with a solution. Because when you're vulnerable, great. But I don't need 6 of you in a hole all crying. And you know that, and I know that. But the challenge is when somebody hears you being vulnerable, we're in a hyper learning mode right now. Very hyper learning mode. Everything you do has a response rate 10 times faster than it did 4 weeks ago. So one of the things I found myself, and this is me talking to you, each of you, is yesterday there was a pace to my conversation that I hadn't heard before. When Donald walks up to me and he goes, "So who are you?" And my answers were they were cool answers, because even as I heard myself saying them, because I wasn't saying them, it had to be the Holy Spirit. Somebody was saying them. I said, "Wow, who am I?" I said, "If you ever figure that out, I would love to hear the answer." And he goes, I mean, so anyway, so the conversations I was having were almost out of body kind of conversations. But what I noticed is the absolute demeanor with which I spoke. I hear it even now. There's this deliberate, confident pace that's giving people a chance in between checking Facebook 1,000 times, even on this call, or listening to the news from some other source. When you're on Facebook, the challenge is you're going to have to become visible. People are not going to enroll. They're already been taken out of their 3D world and put into the 2D world. And the two-dimensional world they have been put into is that of isolation. So how do you work on social media? They are going to have to hear you. They are going to have to see you, because the people who are desperate enough to click on a link and get signed up without any dialogue will be signing up in 45 other things as well, and none of them will work. So I would encourage you to become visible. You have an advantage. You have a 1-day advantage. You have a 2-day advantage. You have a 2-month advantage. I don't know what it's going to be till people start to right their ship and set their sail, and they realize this is the new economy. Imagine all of the new green space that may wind up because of buildings no longer being needed. Parking spaces no longer being needed. Why? Because we're going back to small town communities. We can walk to everything we need. We got Amazon. We got food delivery. Imagine the parks that are going to be created from this, where your kids can play. This will pass. It always does. Imagine the places to where, imagine the new stories you get to tell your children. Imagine the stories your children get to tell. They lived through this time and space. Yeah, I didn't know why my mom was all of a sudden home. I didn't know why all of a sudden everybody just went absolutely ape crazy. I didn't know why I got to know my brothers and sisters so well. I didn't know why I got to know my dad. I didn't know, I had no idea these are the things. I would definitely encourage you to journal. Because right now it's a health crisis. Right now it's a health crisis. What's coming is a financial crisis. At a variety of levels. But the fact is, countries will still operate. Do you have a story? Think of the price of your enrollment. That's going to be the barrier to anybody right now, the price of enrollment and the price of maintaining the business model. So how do you enroll people in that? Have a story that's worth 10 times more than that. Have resources that's worth 10 times more than that. People are going to need the tangible in this time and space. I know buddies of mine who have $1,000 packages. They got to come up with a $10,000 story. Can the return on investment work? Yes, you get this, you do that, you'll make $1,800. Yeah, that's perfect. The challenge is that we're really listen carefully. We're going to need, it's going to be critical for people to understand how to do the Zig Ziglar method of sales. Who knows the Zig Ziglar method of sales? What does Zig say sales is? Anybody know that?
You help enough other people get what they want, you get what you want.
Exactly.
Couple thoughts, Sean?
Sure.
When you talked about your operating from your conversations being in kind of a new space, new mindset, could it be that you were operating from what Peter Crone talks about as being okay with not knowing what's going to happen as the game of life? The game of life to play is, to what degree can I be okay not knowing what's going to happen? Also being who you would be in the absence of your concerns. Operating from, who would you be if you weren't defined by the limiting dialogue of your own mind in while you were having those conversations? Is that?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I've become present in many conversations, but there was a whole new level of presence. There was a whole new level of love that I had for the engagement based upon the fear I felt of people just in and around. The funny thing is that there's a couple of big leaders who were friends of mine that knew I was in Costa Rica, and they were asking me, can you get out? And it's interesting how outside perception versus inside understanding causes you to, I love that they worried about me. I love that they cared enough to ask me a question. They were concerned about it. But it was interesting to see that fear permeates that. And it's always permeated. There's always been a fear. It's just now it's a common enemy fear. So yeah, when he asked me that question, I was like, I don't have a title and a resume wasn't the answer that I needed to hear from me. So yeah, it was just this, what's the answer of I don't know? Because in I don't know, all of the answers exist.
All the freedom to move, to think.
Yep.
And if I can couple that with a second idea, since we're talking about having communications with people in this crazy world and being of help, but also operating from the place of not being okay with not knowing what's going to happen, what if you approach your prospects or the people you want to help, however you want to look at them, with just curiosity, like, I'd really like to know how you think about the idea of having a plan B in this crazy world.
And the reason a language like that works, folks, is because everybody's heard that dialogue before. They've heard that description. Everyone's realizing that their plan B for a short term would be awesome to be able to convert that to a plan A, but they don't even have a plan B.
But you start the conversation and give them the permission to own up to where they are with that idea.
Yep.
Are they on board with it? Is it something that's scary? Is it, you open up the opportunity to have a conversation leading to, well, if I had an opportunity or a new way of looking at that, would you be open to considering it? But giving them plenty of time to soak in it, to be.
And because of the hypersensitivity right now, the time they will take to soak in it won't be as long as you think it is.
But you might need to create the context in which they have the permission to take whatever time they need.
Absolutely. No doubt. Absolutely. So the flight attendant who recognized me from 8 years ago, I stood up and I took a picture, and she was like kind of shocked. But she hands me this business card, and the funny thing, how the story continues. The story always continues. Every prospect you've ever spoken to, the story always continues. Every prospect you're about to speak to, the story always continues. You read a chapter in the Bible, the story always continues. It leads you to another verse. It leads you to another chapter. The story always continues. On the business card she sends me, she has some writing on the back, and I send her a picture. I said, "Did you need this information? I just saw this on the back of your card." And one of the things it said is woman's Bible study. Well, that's just, wow, look, that's just coincidence. And so the first person that comes to my head, you can all imagine who that was. I'm like, oh, we need these strong women. We need these strong women to have a conversation together. I said, I love Bible study. I love hearing what my friends are studying. She says, okay, we'll set up a call for this week. Can you find a connection? Please hear me. Can you listen, as Bob is saying? Can you go into the unknown? Can you go with the unknown as a possible avenue for you to step into, which means you will become fearless? And let the solution show up. Now, I had the card in my wallet for over 2 hours from the time she gave it to me to the time I looked at it, and I never turned it over. How many of us? And here's the funny thing: the guy sitting next to me, the gem source, the guy who owns this jewelry store, who's this amazing individual, Eric, married to his bride of 37 years, Veronica. He said, turn my card over. I turned his card over, and it had another logo on it. So it's not uncommon for you to get a card and just flip it over and see if there's anything there. I didn't flip this card over till I got home. And on the back of it, it talks about a woman's Bible study. So I'm like, oh my gosh, guess who I get to connect her with? Can you all take a guess? Who do you think I get to connect her with? And then just sit back and watch the flowers bloom and the rainbows show up. Exactly. Because she's got a little Z snap and a head wave and all of that stuff. So I say all of that to say the story continues, right? Jim Rohn, the birds will get some. The story continues. Right now, this story is going forward. Listen carefully. You're either going to be an author or a character. Right now, in this moment, you decide. You're either going to be a character in this story or you're going to be the author or the director of this story. Which do you choose? I lay before you life and death. Choose life.
But you mentioned early, you raised the question, what are the skills that we're forgetting to use that maybe we already have? And that's what popped in my mind was my attempt to remember to consider Peter Crone's mindset. Who can I be if I'm not the prisoner of my own mind? Or who can I be if I'm not beholden to some particular outcome, if I'm okay with the way things work out? So that's a skill I try to practice remembering. So if anybody's interested in that,
do me a favor. Say it one more time, Bob, because something else just downloaded to me. So say that.
Okay,
about the skill set.
He says it's to remember, as he says, the game of life to play is, to what degree can I be okay not knowing what's going to happen? That doesn't mean I don't plan and set goals, but to what degree can I be okay not knowing whether I'll actually get that goal tomorrow, later, or not at all, or I'll get something different that may be even better. And so it's a practice of remembering to consider that perspective that he has. Who would I be if I wasn't defined by the limiting dialogue in my own mind? What would be possible for me?
So I think of some of the big TV shows that are out there right now. America's Got Talent, Britain's Got Talent, The Voice. Isn't that the description? Isn't the center of the shows, the core of all of those shows exactly what Bob related to us? Stepping into the unknown. These people who have never, who are like, they're shaking because they don't know what they don't know. And they go out and they give us the best they got. And some of them are like, oh my gosh, you're amazing. They get standing ovation. They get golden buzzers. It's because they went out into the unknown to do what they do well, knowing they're kind of good because their friend said, you're good, you should go. Now there's some people they make the gag reels of who are just absolutely insane. And it's hysterical because they really think they're good and they're good at something. Let me just put it that way.
But it's also like the confidence of the farmer who year after year goes out and plants, knowing full well the birds will get some of his crop, the hail will knock some of it down, but he goes ahead anyway, not being absolutely sure what's going to happen.
But if the standard law of averages take place, I'll have a good crop. But if it goes beyond that, then we've got to do something different. But you still just got to go do it, because that's the only thing you can do. Go do what you can do. Go do it. Go plant your seeds, because that's all you can do. I love it.
Yeah, that's isn't it Epictetus that pointed out, taking control of what you can control.
Yep. And that's why people started to sing in Italy. That's the only thing that was in their control, was the ability to sing. And they wanted to just, there was so much energy inside of them. They went out to their porch and they sang, and somebody else joined it. It's just this, what we're realizing is this, what I believe we're going to be seeing is a universal connection of a collection of high spirits. Whether it be online, we wouldn't have, had it not been this time and space, we wouldn't have known about people singing in Italy. But we knew about it because of technology. It allowed us to feel good for just a moment. Julie, do you remember your question, my love?
Yes, I did. I did. Okay, I look crazy. I apologize.
You look sexy. You look
Thank you.
sexy.
Thank you. All right, so I have two things to say, Sean.
Okay.
Today, I'm sure that you guys are talking about like what's going on in the world, and I kid you not, this morning, I had a friend of mine. She just sent me a lot of videos, a lot of articles, like to inform me about what's happening. And I'm like reading all of this, and I'm like, oh God, this is real. So like I had an epiphany at that point, and then I started thinking of everything that could go wrong, everything. So then I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me just meditate. Like Shammi was saying earlier, I was like, let me just meditate. Let me pray. Let me, document this down in my journal, and then let me go out and have some coffee. And I did just that. And now I feel like it's gonna be okay. It's okay. So I just wanted to make a comment on meditation and on journaling. It really, really did help me. Now, in regards to approaching people right now with what's happening, I'm having a difficult time. Like I'm having, like, yes, I'll go, I'll do the prospect calls, but then the issue is always money. And people are so scared right now to spend money because, they're getting caught off from their jobs and everything. And then I'm like, I don't know how to go about it. Like I let them know, like, oh, it's okay. Just let me know whenever you're, let me know. We can, what would be a good day for me to follow up with you instead of me, does it make sense?
It does. So
Yeah.
here's a suggestion. And in this time of sales, in this time of everybody starting to think about lack, in this time of, is there enough out there for all of us? I would encourage you to lean towards, there will always be more than enough for all of us. And this is what's happening now, is forcing us to become better humans. So I'm going to get to a suggestion I would have for you that will bring more people to you than you know what to do. Would you guys like that? Would you like to hear how you could have more people coming to you than you know what to do?
Yes.
Okay. So take a look at your phones and just type in the number of contacts you have in your phones, right? If you can go to your phones and you know how to look up and just see, you in an iPhone, you go to your contacts and you scroll all the way down to the bottom and it tells you how many people you have in your contacts. Just type in the number in the chat, how many people you have in your contacts. Okay, I see the numbers. Okay, so let me let you in on a little secret. Okay, so if you look at your numbers and you look at my numbers, I got over 3,000. 30, is it what? 30 what? 3,700. So that sounds like a high number, right? 3,700 names. My mentor, who's one of the top income earners, my business partner, who's one of the top income earners in the world right now in our profession. Somebody type in RBP, you know the number, but somebody type in a number that would be a ridiculous number to have in your contact list. Yeah. 130,000. So when we sit here and we look at your success, I look at my success, I look at her success, how many people can you make friends with? And of the 300, you don't talk to all 300. Of the 400, the 500, the 1,800, you don't talk to them all. But here's what I'm going to suggest you do. I'm going to suggest you message them all. And here's what I would suggest you say to them. And it can be a copy and paste message. Hey, listen, I was just thinking of you in this time of craziness. I want you to know I got your back. We may not talk all the time, but I'm looking through my contact list, and I just appreciate you. I hope you have a blessed day. Put it in your words. Put it in a way that it sounds and your heart comes across that you're caring. So how many messages of gratitude did you send out yesterday to people? Yeah, perfect, Brittnee. How many messages of gratitude did you send out yesterday? Some of you got some from me. I sent out 100 yesterday of voice messages, of individualized voice messages between Facebook and Instagram. And truly just loving people. Because a lot of the people that I know are already in a business. You're already in a company. I'm not here to cross recruit you. I'm here to do whatever I can to make sure your business does the best for you. But you know what happened? I send out these messages, and then all of a sudden, these 3 amazing people in the next 10 minutes show up in my life. What? Yeah, that's exactly how it works. Karma. Karma isn't always for bad. It's for good too. If you send out good in the world, it's just your energy going out and coming back to you. Whatever goes out comes back. Whatever goes out comes back. You send out love and joy, 10 times fold comes back. You send out hate and aggravation, 10 times comes back. So in this time of people not knowing who's on their team, I'd go rally your team. And then when they come back with the second message, right? So between sitting at the hotel, waiting to go to the airport, sitting at the airport, and getting home, sent out over 100 messages. Now I pale in comparison to my mentor, my sponsor, my business partner, one of my mentors. Because of her current situation and where she's at, she sent out 900 messages. How many followers do you have on Instagram? So if I asked you how many followers you have on Instagram, how many of you can type in that number? I saw the numbers of I saw the numbers of your people in your phone. Now show me the numbers of the people on your Instagram. So how could you ever run out of prospects? Why are you saying it's hard to find people? You got 600-700 people between Instagram and your phone. What are you waiting on? Why do you think why do you have to go find new people? You have all of these people who are already following you. Yeah, but so now the realization comes in. Yeah, but are they really following me? You've been telling yourself, I've got 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 people following me on Instagram. And I'm going to say, go send them a message. And you're like, holy shit, they don't even know me. Then why were you saying you got 3,000 followers? You're out for a freaking walk. If nobody's following you, you're out for a walk. Doesn't matter what the number says. That thing of how many people come to your site, that's not even a real number on Instagram. Yeah, 128 views a week. That's a week. 128 views might be for a video, might be for a live or something, a story. Mine before y'all showed up was at 15, and nobody was showing up on my site. Now it's 100, 200. There back in the beginning of January, it was up to 800, 900. But I was tracking it to see, well, I wonder, let's see how fast that changes. Because what we talk about here is a paradigm shift, is a change in what is is a change of the way you look at things, not changing direction, changing the way you look at the direction. And this is how you sift and sort. There's 73 people on this call right now. Last year, this time, there was 15 people on this call. That's a pretty good growth. I'm okay with that. I'm absolutely ecstatic with that, because if none of y'all showed up, I'd still be doing this. There's many days I'm like, why am I doing this? That's the brain showing up. So in this time and moment, I would encourage you, just go reach out to those. How long is it going to take for you to send a message? Because there's going to be some of them, it's disconnected, it's the wrong number. What would happen if you sent it to the wrong number? Hey, listen, I don't know who Tommy is, but all I can tell you is, thanks for sending me that message. Who are you? So what can you do right now? Because when you're in service, you feel good. Go be of service. Go let the universe pay you back. Let the universe reward you. Because right now, the universe is sitting there going, stop the rewards. Nobody's accepting anything on earth right now. Everybody's got, I don't know what's going on down there. It's like we just got disconnected. And all of the rewards are getting piled up in heaven, or wherever you believe rewards are stored. I believe they're stored in heaven, and they're all getting piled up there. And they're going, whoa. Nobody's accepting anything right now. They're all in this blame game. So when you start to let the universe reward you again, because you're in service, amazing things will happen. I was given that gift yesterday. All day long, I was given that gift. I was amazed. Hello, Brittnee, my love. You have a question or statement?
It's so crazy. I talk on these things every single day. And before you couldn't get me to, but
You're so
was
right. I love you. I love you for it. It's like she's now my co-host. She used to be like, and I ain't touching that thing. I ain't hitting that talk button, raise my hand. You nuts? He's stupid half the time. I'm just taking notes.
my thoughts are percolating, and I'm like, the only person who can even begin to understand what I'm saying is Sean, because everything that I'm going to say is going to come out like a big ball of yarn, and sometimes I don't even get it. But it's very interesting that you said that, because anyone who's within my business that was on one of the calls last night, one of our leaders was talking about how to create connections with more people. And that got me thinking, because I'm like, I drive Uber, and I enjoy driving Uber first and foremost for the fact that I can meet new people at a consistent rate and hear their stories and talk to them all the time. And I think that what social media, I have a love-hate relationship with social media. And I think that what social media has created is this ideal that we are unable to connect with people. And and even though we are quote unquote interacting with these people, we're not necessarily engaging with these people. And one of the terms that have been so present recently is engagement. But it's like, how can you engage and create connections with people if you don't want to? Wow, am I talking to myself? That's crazy. Like, how can you create engagement with these people if you like don't want to let these people know what's going on? Whoa, I am talking to myself. That's crazy. Well, I guess that's my question for myself.
And we're back with Brittnee, where we're going to all sit and listen, and we're going to have talk to the minds of Brittnee. But Brittnee, what you just demonstrated, please hear me. What you just demonstrated was your brilliance at work, where you decided to listen to yourself and to be able to, what does Covey say? Seek first to understand, then be understood. You were listen, please, Linda, listen. You finally slowed down long enough to play both parts of the illusion. You were both the magician and the magician's helper. And in this illusion, you know the answer. You know where the distraction was. You found where the illusion was. And in being both the magician and the magician's helper, the distraction that you were talking about, all of a sudden, you now understand where the distraction was coming from.
So this means that I'm a genius and a maniac all at the same time.
Oh, there's a very fine line. We walk it all the time. You guys see me. I walk it all the time. When I was in Latin America, my energy level is at such a different place when I'm the one in charge, if you will, versus the one attending. And Rhonda can speak to that. She's seen me on both sides of it. And it is maniacal how fast it will change.
It's crazy. Maniacal is the word that I use all the time.
And so this maniacal genius is the one that creates the solution for everybody, but Coca-Cola wants to buy it and quash it and bury it 1,000 miles deep because it will change the world. We're all here to change the world. And we do that every day. The challenge is that if we can do it in a way that is filled with love and joy and filled with a way to teach people how to take care of themselves, the universal compensation takes care of us. It finds ways to reward us in a way that allows us to do more. Wallace D. Wattles' book, Science of Getting Rich. If you believe you can do more in the world, you are entitled to more to do more. If money is what's necessary, if currency is what's necessary for you to be able to do more, to be able to bring more to the world, you are entitled to be rich.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We've all seen the memes of the CEO of Perel, right? I haven't seen one, but people have described them, and I can only imagine. And the people who sell toilet paper, the CEOs, they all got the big gold chains, and they're kind of just dancing because they're making more money than they know what to do with right now. They can't produce fast enough. People are talking about becoming poor. There are people becoming wildly rich right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you need to look at what was in your inventory. What's in your inventory that you can convert? My inventory is the ability to have a conversation with a human. And I have lots of inventory of that. I have lots of inventory of love because I have all of you that love me and I love you. And so I never have an unending source of love, of calmness, of being there. I have all of you who remind me of it's okay to not know. It's okay to show up to a call like this and not know. Because together we wind up in a knowing. Brittnee, I would make sure you journal this moment because you not only had an aha, you had an oh yeah in the same moment. Because you just heard yourself, you just slowed down enough to let all of the stupid people stay over there And you finally had a conversation with yourself of how do I help them? They're no longer stupid. I'm realizing I need to get better. In order for things to change, I need to change. In order for things to get better, I need to get better. And you just had a I need to get better moment, and you had a dialogue, a true dialogue, not two monologues that bumped into each other, a true dialogue of a conversation that allowed you to become aware of a greater you.
And, you know, I realize that, and thank you for confirming that for me. And I also realize that I was staying in places and places and spaces that were way too small for me. And I'm had the realization yesterday that everything that I had was supposed to be more. But I was just so attached to those things that, but when they got taken away from me, I didn't necessarily feel defeated, but I was just like, okay, oh, it's so cute. It's like now that those things, all like literally every single thing that had got taken away from me in like the past couple of months have come back, and it's even better. So I'm like, okay, if this is 10x from that, I can't wait to see what 100x would be like. But I thoroughly understand, and thank y'all for listening to me talk this out. But I think I understand what it means to be in a state of allowance. And to just bring it back to social media, yesterday I put out a video of just me authentically being myself. And what I feel that I've been doing was not necessarily allowing other people the opportunity to see me for who I am in all of my glory, for lack of better words. And I think a lot of people do that on social media. Fear of judgment, approval, addiction to approval, and all those types of things. And when it all boils down to it, we're really not strangers. Like, we all have lived the same life. So, and this crisis has just kind of, even though we've had other crises before in the world, I think it's something different about this one. I'm not sure, but it's just kind of bringing about more of a socialist thing. Okay, I'm done.
So I would encourage you to continue that dialogue with yourself. And here's the thing that's most valuable from us being a part of this awakening for you. That's been happening continually, because these moments when you have these dialogues with us, through us, to us, from us, allows you the ability to continually stay on the path of moving forward. Too many people get started, too many people move forward. And Jasmine said, yeah, your voice is changing. I would agree with that. The timbre and the tone and the pace and the ladies, you guys will know what I'm saying, and guys, you may hear it as well, but the tinge that each word may have had that stung a little is gone. I can't believe I'm talking to an idiot right now. So let me just see if I can get this out before I blow up. That tone, that essence is gone. And I applaud you for that. because this is the you, this is the higher you that's stepping out. You will draw things into your world that you will be absolutely bizarrely wondering about. Go in with, as Bob said earlier, can you go in with the unknowing that it's okay to not know? Standing in an airport in San Jose, Costa Rica, God puts me in a place and time that absolutely allows me, as the flight crew was coming through checkout into the terminal, I'm walking this way, and at the exact moment in time, I was able to hear them speak in English and say, are you our flight crew to Dallas? They said, yes, we are. I said, listen, thank you for all you do. Thank you for being part of American. I know people have challenges with it. I've never had in the 20 years that I've been flying on y'all. I love y'all and just thank you. And my legs are a lot longer than theirs, so I just headed down to the gate. From that moment, for the next 6 hours, I was in a state of bewilderment, unknowing. Why? Was it because I just said thank you? Was it because just prior to the engagement with them, I was sitting at the wrong gate, sending out my messages of love and gratefulness and gratitude to friends and family? Okay, whatever the answer is, I just was always, I paid attention to the moment. I chose happiness. I chose joy. And the universe is looking for people to give the joy back to, because it is building up. Imagine all of the people who work at Purell or any of the hand sanitizer places. Do you think they're getting paid overtime right now? They're masking up. They'll put on anything they can, because right now it's their gold mine. And there's no time to sleep when you're in a gold mine. Every one of us is in a gold mine. I would encourage you to have those authentic self conversations you just heard Brittnee have. What I love about this community is that I can sit here and pontificate. I can sit here and tell you about my 50 years of experience being in sales. But none of that compares to you hearing somebody who's just like you tell a story. RBP, where you at, girl?
I'm over here soaking in some Brittnee. That's where I'm at.
Speak to us.
Brittnee, you have got my mind racing in a good way, in like a really, really good way. When you said I've been staying in spaces and places that are too small for me. Well, first of all, I agree with what Monique said. Your growth is unbelievable. And listening to you, I know you're laughing, girl. Listening to you today, oh my gosh, girl. And so I went with that thought, and I'm just sitting in that thought. And the questions that are coming to me is, what do we need to let go of that's weighed us down and kept us from soaring into that bigger place? And why are we scared of bigger spaces and places? Why are we scared of that? What illusion keeps us seeing the bigger space as a scary place? What illusion makes us go, I can't get, I don't need that bigger space. I don't need that. I need to stay right here in this small space. Why do we play small? What? Because I'm over here asking myself, why is it that I play small sometimes? What is that? There's some sort of illusion that's caused me to do exactly what you've done, and it's coming out of that. That's crazy. But I think you sitting here having this is why I tell y'all it's so important for everybody to show up, because her breakthrough, her awakening, her epiphany, how many of y'all got something out of that just now? And you wouldn't, yeah, exactly. You wouldn't have got it had she not have showed up. And that's exactly why and I'm gonna talk to the girls for just a minute. That's exactly why women, it's so important for us women to show up in other women's lives. Of course, guys, it's the same. And y'all need to make a little room sometimes for us to show up bigger, for women to show up a little bigger, because there's some amazing things that will come through as blessings for everybody, everybody. And I'm over here, I was listening to everybody, I was enjoying the call, and then Brittnee took it into a whole nother big space. And you made space for other women while you stepped into your bigger space. And some of it is you got to get out of the space you're in so somebody else can step into that space, because where you're coming from is their big space, even though it's a small space for you. And it's that constant growth. You know, I'm speaking tonight, Lord willing, if we don't have, you know, I guess it's gonna have to be 50 people or less. I'm speaking tonight on cleaning things out and what you need to get rid of. And Sean and I talked last night till about 11:15, 11:30, and I couldn't go to sleep after that. And I was just praying and asking God, what do you have for me to speak on? What do you have? And then Brittnee shows up, and she has this whole cleaning out of the old and ushering in the new and stepping into a new space. And it's bigger and brighter and fuller and has all these great, even more potential. And Brittnee, because of you, I've got even more to share with some ladies. So your breakthrough, if you're still in Chicago with your mom, or if you're back home, your breakthrough is going to break who knows however many women at this thing tonight into a new, bigger space, because they're going to clean out some of this other stuff. So you know, my thoughts also were, what things are you holding on to that are too small for you? Instead of just talking about it as a space, what things are you holding on to that are too small for you? I've got all these questions that just running through my mind, and I love it. And Brittnee, you make me think of what it felt like when I've had these moments. And Sean and I talked about another moment just last night. And it is, sit in it and enjoy the moment of right now. We got to watch you come out of the small space and into a bigger space and into a bigger place. And you served us well while doing so. And that's the whole beginning of this call, is how can you go serve people and give them a safe place to show up and to gain from. And you did that. Brittnee did that. Brittnee, the girl like me who thinks she lives in a world full of stupid people, showed up and gave people a place to be smart and be loved and be cared for. Girl, I love you.
I can't believe it.
I know. Hey, miracles still happen, girl. Between me and you, we are walking proof that miracles still happen. You're a life changer.
Oh man.
You are a life changer.
Because you were willing to change your own life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
And if we did that for every person, if we showed up today in the same way Brittnee showed up today, in every person's life we come in contact with or on social media, what's going to happen? What is going to happen? So I'm good. I'm all happy now. I'm like, wah! And then it tells me also, Brittnee, one more thing, and I'll get back to Sean. It tells me if Brittnee can do it, I can keep doing it too.
And I say this with all love and respect. If Brittney can do it,
anybody can do it. We can all do it.
I can do it. Yeah.
Yeah. I love y'all.
Because that was a heroic, or a heroic journey that she's taken here in the last 2 months. 2 months. Life is amazing. And it's because of the hypersensitivity of the situation that I want to say forced some breakthroughs. some quiet time that she had that maybe she wouldn't have had in the past. What's that phrase we always say? The best way out of your problem is to go in.
It's also interesting to see that some of the characteristics that we say are bad personality traits are redeemed through a breakthrough, because it took the strength and the drive that she has to get her through this breakthrough. It took that. She couldn't be weak through this. She had to be strong, and she had to speak to herself the way, I know this is what I did. For me, Brittnee, because our brains are freaking almost exactly the same, I had to tell myself, don't be a stupid person, Rhonda. Get through the breakthrough. Don't be a stupid person. You're smarter than this. Come on, push through this, push through this. And so all the things that I've negatively put on other people, I had to speak to myself, but it was redemption of that strong personality. Does that make sense how I said that?
You know what I think it is? That as well, because I also have a challenge with being a hypocrite. So, but also what it does, what needed to happen for me, for you, for a lot of people, is that you kind of have to be around people that are mirrors for you, but not in a way that they are triggering you, but just to, hey, like just to talk with you and show you yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, be around people that provide that safe space and allow you to have your breakthroughs, and just be around a different environment, and it just feels different. You know, I talked on these calls, and I'm like, you know, I'm crazy, like I'm just literally insane, but it helps that I get on here and people are like, no, I felt that, you know, I can relate. And I'm like, well, maybe I am crazy, but more people are crazy with me, and that feels good, you know? So,
Well, it's that losing your mind to gain a better one.
wow, that also goes to losing something for something, like
Yeah.
letting go that old story. Wow.
Yeah, it's losing that small-minded thinking to gain a bigger thinking, a bigger capability of thinking. So there's that small space into a bigger space, small
Yeah.
place into a bigger place.
Yeah,
But
and something that Sean said was that this is crazy, right? He said, I may be stepping out of where I am to go bigger, because now where I was is maybe for somebody else. But like, even you can think about it between you and I, you just not too long ago was where I am, you know?
yeah,
And so it's just literally a train of progression for everybody.
yeah. And
Y'all
you know
hearing?
what's
Whoa,
cool?
whoa, whoa! Stop! Hold on. Y'all hearing this?
Not this look on his face. Look at it.
Y'all hearing this? Y'all think you're excited? How excited do you think I am to watch this?
Yeah, I can see how you're sitting back in your seat,
Yes.
back enjoying it. Like, look what I produced. Look what I helped.
Look when I say this, do more by doing, have more by doing less. I'm doing nothing here right now.
Enjoying the dialogue.
You want to talk about multiplication, not duplication, multiplication?
That's right. That's right.
I'm listening to Brittnee and I'm going, who is this? Because she's even having, are you all hearing the inflection in her voice?
Yeah. Very smooth.
And she said, and she started a sentence just before. She says, I don't know, maybe if this is possibly for y'all, but this is something that happened to me. And I'm like,
Yeah.
everybody's stupid. You just invited them into a conversation with you.
But she said a key thing. And well, she said a whole bunch of key things.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of key things. Another key thing she said is It's being around people that are like mirrors for
Mirrors.
you,
Mhm.
and not in a bad way.
Mm.
And that's what you've taught a lot of this, Sean. You've taught us how to come alongside people, not get in their face, not get in front of them, not shove them from behind. You've taught us how to come along beside each other. And it's because of that that I feel, and this is just my thought, I feel like Brittnee and I've come beside each other and just linked arms and helped each other out. And it's our strength that just, we're so determined, but we finally figured out how to use that determination to help each other and to help ourselves. And that's the mirror I think you're talking about, Brittnee.
Mhm.
And that's key. That's the way to not get people to be repelled from your strength, but to be invited in to your strength. Because as a mirror, you're not going to just show a flaw, you're also going to show all the beauty. You're not going to show where a piece of hair might be sticking out this way, and and you're like, oh, put that down, sister. You're also going to show all the beauty and all the things that are right.
Mhm.
So your thoughts of a mirror, that's a whole nother call. I love you, woman. Thank you.
I love you too. I am every day. I'm awakened. I just can't. It's so much to process.
It is, but it's so much fun.
It's so exciting.
Yes. And this is what you were intended for.
But hang on. Brittnee said something very powerful that I want us all to hear. We think it's addition. In the processing, it's subtraction.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the hard part. Because you've said it many times in this expression of joy that you're having right now. Because that's what it is. You can't even put words to it. This is what you're having is an expression of joy. And what you're having to process is what you're letting go. This is the addiction to approval. This is the story of addiction. And in letting go, that served you well, it served you up to this moment, because in this moment of this expression of joy that you're having right now, you are not experiencing any of the old. It's all new and it's different. It's scary. It's vibrating. It's invigorous. It's jumping into the cold pond. It's knowing you can get out. But when you get out, what will you wrap yourself in? This is the true expression of inside of 90 days, who you surround yourself with will allow you to up your game, up your average. And for an hour a day, 2 hours a day, we get to have you, but we go with you. In the words of Jim Rohn, a little bit of you, Brittnee, goes with us, and hopefully a little bit of us goes with you. And that's evident. A little bit of us went with you, because in an hour-long conversation, an hour and a half conversation on a daily basis, so 30 hours, 40 hours, maybe 50 hours, you've spent on you, and you've upped your game, and you've had an awakening of joy and spirit and physically your body changing, your voice changing. We can all hear it. Your level of emotion changing. We can all hear it. We can all see it. Monique goes, I remember when she used to be bunny ears. That wasn't just the beginning of the year. And in less than 90 days, you've had this awakening. Isn't that amazing? So, you still there, Brittnee?
I am, and I'm just, I'm thinking about it. I am. I'm just like, the lesson, if I can sum it up into one word, would just have to be consistency.
Yep.
Consistency. When I talk about your calls to other people, it's something in my voice. This is what they said, that it's something in my voice, in the way that I talk about it, that I don't know. They say that I'm so passionate when I talk about these things, and a lot of the people, and I really just want to say that I'm so happy that there are a few people here whom I've brought here who are still here. And it's like that consistency. If Sean can be consistent every day, if how many people are on here? 50 people can be consistent every single day. We consistently do other stuff all the time. Why can't we consistently do this, you know? Like,
My
and
job here is done.
it's like it's subconscious programming, because let me let you in on a little secret. For the majority of the call, I was asleep. Like, I dozed off, and because I had to wake up at like 3 a.m. and I dozed off, but I was still listening. And then I got back on like at the right time. It was like, oh my God, all this stuff is processing to me. And then I was able to speak. And so I just feel like subconsciously it's ingrained in me. And that transition to unconscious competence is on the way.
Y'all hearing this?
Who is that young lady?
Who is this?
I still have my
this sage
struggles.
among us?
Because
My
she
biggest
was a
challenge is
Lamborghini
still
at
here.
first. That Lamborghini has slowed down.
She's actually helping people get in the car.
Yes, she is.
Mm-hmm.
I
Enjoy it,
still have one big challenge that, who knows? But
well, just like so, you get you get to say all these other challenges were a challenge until, and today was until, and the last big challenge you have will be a big challenge
until.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. But the change comes from within. Wow. Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at will change. That's crazy.
Brittnee, you are so inspirational. You are so inspirational.
She's on
I
fire.
love you. Oh my gosh, thank you for showing up in my life. Ah!
Ashley, good morning. I see your hand up, my love.
Good morning, y'all. How are y'all?
Doing amazing.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, perfect. Brittnee, one, I want to say I'm proud of you, because it's been not a long time coming, but it's nice to hear the difference and the growth that I think I've been waiting for you to get to too. And thank you for talking about what you were talking about today, because I think a lot of the ways we're similar, and a lot of the conversations that we have after these calls are kind of like the same mindset. And I think that's why, like, right now is such an interesting time period for me. Like, when people talk about isolation, to where I feel like God's been trying to isolate me from like a lot of things, to where now it's literally like you have to like be with your thoughts. You have to learn to like grow in you, because I really have a strong feeling that whenever this time period is done for me, it's going to be completely different. Like, the people that I'm being connected with now, I don't know how it's happening. Like, it's kind of crazy. Like, I'm meeting more people every day that I really don't know where they came from, but I'm starting to see the same growth with myself, to where it's like, I think for a long time, I've kept myself in a box. And Sean, I think the first time, and Rhonda, the first time that I had a conversation with you guys, you had talked about what would it take for them to make a statue or memorial to you. And a lot of the times they don't do that to people until they're dead. And I think that was something that's like stuck with me, because it's something that I constantly think about. And I realized that you can't do that, and you can't impact the people that you need to impact playing small. And it doesn't serve anybody, and it doesn't serve you. And I think that's something for me in this period of like, I guess more or so isolation, as far as like people, is refocusing my energy onto like what I need to be focused on, and actually having the opportunity to focus. Because I think especially like with social media and just now in general, it's taken a lot of like my time away from things because I've always spent so much time pouring into other people, but haven't had the solitude to actually just like sit with me and my thoughts and what I need to do to continue to progress forward to be where I see myself and where I feel like after this period is supposed to have me. So thank you. I don't really know if that was a question, but
No, it was a powerful statement and a powerful confirmation, Ashley. And it was a personal awakening for you, again, to hear the words. Sometimes when we have these things that speak from our emotion, sometimes you witnessed it, just like Rhonda witnessed yesterday when I predispositioned Ashley with love and joy before she, I mean, with to Brittnee before she started speaking. Sometimes when we hear ourselves say these things, it's the first time we've ever heard ourselves say these things. So I appreciate you being vulnerable, being strong, being caring and loving enough for all of us to share your expression of joy. Yay. Donald Sanford, you got a question, brother, or a comment or a statement or a funny joke, something. You got your hand raised.
Good morning, Sean. Good morning.
Good morning, brother.
I just wanted to say good morning from New York. I had the opportunity, so I wanted to do it before I'm back in Texas, man. I've been gone on the calls. How y'all been?
Doing good. Yeah, if there's other people on there from New York, because things are going a little, that's where it's starting the some of the major changes that are happening right now. So
Yeah, it's mad crazy. Well, I don't even think it seemed normal to me out here. Like, I don't know. It
well,
seemed
listen, listen. We're only subjective to the information based upon our emotional situation. You're being normal, brother. That's why it seems normal. Your environment, your emotion is that things are normal, and you're looking around, things are normal. Other people who are scared and crazy look around and see everything's scared and crazy.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you.
No problem, man.
Thanks for being a calm ship in the storm.
Already, brother. Y'all have a blessing.
Love you, brother. Bless you too.
You too.
So we got Chaz.
Hi, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Hi, oh my gosh. First of all, I do want to say this is like my first time being on this call, and I loved every second of it.
Aw. Thank you.
I do want to say this is just, oh, you're welcome. I do want to say this is just a comment and to share my testimony because Brittnee, it is really important that you share your testimony. That's the only way that other people will learn. And I just want to say a year ago, like I was in the lowest spot of my life, and it was just more of me being in that solitude and me being away from school, my friends, like my family was around, but I was just in my room, like with me, learning about myself, learning about my growth. One thing that started it all was because I said that I am so defensive. Like I'm so defensive. I don't understand like why things happen to me. And, you know, I was just thinking like the world was just so good off. But whenever like I did really think about it, me being in my solitude and me looking at it and changing my mindset definitely started the growth of me becoming the woman I am today, which I was not this person a year ago. And it all really manifested within a couple of months. So I just say that to say just some words of encouragement, like anybody who's in a space of solitude, that just means that you are growing into the person that you need to be and that you've been praying to be. And that is a hard space to be in, but that's where you learn to gain endurance. And that is a really, really valuable gift to have. So just keep growing, keep learning yourself, keep loving others, because everything will come 10 times fold to you as long as you truly are worried about your heart and how you treat others and how you do, perceive the world for real. So I just wanted to say that. I think you, Brittnee, you're really inspirational and I love this call. So I'm going to get on it way more.
Well, Chaz, so can you tell us how you found it, or because there's a couple of people are going, I don't know who this is talking, but they're an angel in my day today. So thank you for it. So,
oh my gosh, thank you. Yeah, this was sent on Mornings with Nano. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but yeah, he sent it through there. So
And the reason we giggle is actually when Nano talks about his mentor that had him start that call. That's me.
Oh my gosh! Hello. Oh my gosh! Yes. See, that's why I'm like, I really need to get on this way more because like I'm learning so much.
Well, and here's the thing, Chaz. And am I saying your name correctly?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So first of all, thank you. And I want you to hear that because you hear it a lot. I don't see your picture and that's okay right now. That's okay forever if that needs to be, but I don't see who you are, but I can hear who you are. And there is this strength. There is this, well, she's supposed to be that way, probably look about you of confidence. And so I say all of that to say, because I can hear this in your voice, but I want to say thank you for showing up here.
Thank you.
Thank you for overcoming whatever fears you used to have to speak on a call that's your first time, to be able to say in your heart that I just had an awakening and I want to share it. I need to share it because not only will it bring value to me to hear myself say it, but hopefully it'll bring value to these other folks who are on here. And it's the highest form of recognition. So I just wanted, I don't know that most people would get all of that out of what you just said, but I wanted you to hear that's what I got out of all of what you just shared and who you are. So thank you for being here for the first time. And thank you for allowing me to fall in love with you because you're amazing.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here. And everybody, please stay in a positive vibration. Like it really means a lot. It really does help for real. So thank y'all though.
Taz, thank you. And I'd love to have you as a regular contributor because now I can just go, hey, we're starting the morning call. Go. And I just let all these powerful souls have a dialogue. So thanks for being here, my love.
Of course.
So Dakaya, good morning, Dakaya.
Good morning. Sorry, I'm a little stuffy right now. My allergies have been terrible to me. But actually, you know what? Thank you, Chaz. I actually just learned that I found you through Mornings with Nino also. And I never knew that you were his mentor that he was talking about. So I just found that out today. So my, I guess, question was, so yesterday, I'm not sure who it was, but we were talking about middle children and
Joshua. Yesterday we had a conversation with Joshua.
Yeah, and I was just like, I never really thought about like that because I'm one of the youngest just children just like on both sides of my family. Like I think I have like 3 cousins who are younger than me out of the multitude that I have. And I guess I just didn't realize I guess how much of a chip on my shoulder I really had, like always having someone to look up to, but never having someone look up to me in a sense. And that also brought up a thing of isolation seems like a reoccurring word today. And I really don't know what my question is. I'm just a little lost right now. Now that I'm thinking about it.
So maybe the reason you don't have a question, maybe, is because it's not something you're trying to get an answer for your brain.
Okay.
Maybe it's an awakening for your heart. Because what Brittnee went through today was all heart-based. There was no brain in there. That's why she was calm and she wasn't, for lack of a better word, aggressive or just the old Brittnee.
Right.
So maybe the question you're having isn't a brain question, it's a heart question. So maybe it's going to take some big breaths. And so are you someplace where you can sit for just a second?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so
I'm actually sitting up. I actually just sat up.
Okay.
Surprisingly enough.
Surprisingly, shockingly. Funny how that works. The heart knows what it needs long before the brain will ever know.
Yes, it does.
So this is this is an emotion you're looking for, not a question you're looking to answer, would be my guess. So if you were to just sit quietly right now and just do a body scan, Where do you feel tension in your body? Where do you feel any kind of stress in your body? Any kind of discomfort? Any kind of something different?
In like my shoulders and my collarbones.
Okay, so shoulders and collarbones. That
Yeah,
usually means
specifically.
you're looking to carry a weight that's not yours, right?
That's very fair.
When they say pick up the yoke and put the yoke on, and it's the yoke is that thing they would put around the cows that would actually stop at their shoulders, and they would pull the wagon with the yoke. So I would ask you to sit quietly and ask you, is this thing you're about to carry, is this thing you're about to lift up that you've had? Two things you should look at that I'm hearing is, one is, how long have you been carrying it, and what made it heavier? And then once you decide what that is, once you decide what this load is you're carrying, then ask the question, is this mine or was this given to me?
It was given to me, and
then
I
the
know the
question
exact time and place, actually.
So the question then is, what do you serve by carrying it?
Nothing.
Then is it okay if we let it down?
Yes.
Okay.
I just wonder why I'm carrying it.
Jim Rohn would say, I wouldn't sign up for that class. That allows you, in your wondering why you're going to carry it, you continue to carry it. Do you want to carry it?
No.
So do me a favor, sit quietly for just a second. Take a couple of breaths in. And so what I want you to do on this next exhale, I want you to feel the shoulder. I want you to feel the weight. I want you to feel the pressure. I actually wanted to feel you pushing it down into your seat, down into your bed. Feel the pressure on your booty, right? You can feel like somebody's pushing down. And on the next big exhale, I want you to just totally feel that. And I want you to say to that weight, to that yoke, I want you to say, and I love that.
And I love that.
So what did it do?
It feels like a release.
So before
I
we
definitely feel calmer.
So before we did that little exercise, on a scale of 1 to 10, what was that pressure? What was that tension in those shoulders?
Definitely an 8 easily.
And what's it now?
Maybe scraping a 2.
So you realize what you did in your body.
Right.
You went from an 8 to a 2 in under a minute.
Maybe not even 30 seconds, honestly.
So here's the thing. This stress that we bring, this stress that we add to ourselves, it's self-inflicted.
Right.
We would all be in the hospital with self-inflicted wounds if that was a disease we could get admitted for.
Very true.
But in the moment of love, in the moment of awareness, in the moment of who did you absolutely have to love for that to go away?
Me and the person I was carrying the weight for.
And in that love, the fact that you carried it for a long time, there will be somebody else to pick that up if it needs to be picked up. You don't have to right now. Now that this went from an 8 to a 2, tell me where it's at now. Has it gone back up to a 3 or a 4 because we've forgotten about it for just a second? Or is it still at a 2?
No, it's almost completely disappeared. And I think it was just having that moment to just allow myself to let go, almost.
Funny how that happened with Brittnee.
Right.
So her breakthrough gave you at a subconscious level the ability to have your breakthrough. This is why when Rhonda says we need to show up.
It feels good to show up.
Did you just hear that, everybody? That to me was a micro expression of just pure release.
Yeah, I definitely feel a lot better. That's crazy to me. Oh my gosh.
I need your subconscious to hear this. I need your subconscious to hear this. Thank you for feeling better. It was okay to feel better. It's been waiting to feel better. That's why in under 30 seconds, you can feel better because it's already waiting, folks. Everything you want is just, it's as close as your skin. It's when we lose the distraction, when we lose the attraction to the distraction, and we start to become us. We start to step into our own shoes. We start to feel our own soul. We start to be this amazing, incredible individual in isolation who now can experience total global connectedness in our oneness.
Whew.
Hmm.
Yeah, I needed that.
And this is what I'm
Wow.
suggesting we all become present, because the world is needing this. You are all having these breakthroughs, not for me, not for you, for the world, because we need you. I need these strong African-American women to step up. I need these Latino women to step up. I need these ones who are these wallflowers to no longer to come down off the wall and to step up and to stand strong and say, we together can do this.
Thank you, Sean.
You're welcome, my love. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here. Folks,
I'll
how
be
many
here
times
tomorrow.
how many times have I said in meditation, listen carefully, how many times have I said in meditation, it doesn't I meditate 2 hours a day. Nothing happens till about an hour 45. Look at what's happening after the hour's over. We go through this. We have amazing things that happen, incredible things that happen. But the stuff that happens at a hyperspace and a hyper speed with hyper connectivity and hyper love and hyper everything, maximum, doesn't happen. We're at 2 hours. I'm not saying that they always got to be 2 hours, but what happens is this ability to let go, even in your own meditation, even in your own conversation, even in your own dialogue, can't happen in 15 minutes. It just can't. Do you start there? Yes. Do you complain that you can't do it for 18 minutes? No, you love that you can do it for 2 and then 3 and then 4. What if it took you 90 days to have a Brittnee breakthrough? I mean, I keep hearing that song of the girl who's Brittnee, when what she says, that Brittnee that's taken this new stage, this Brittnee of love and power and joy and connection. I just keep hearing her say to the old one, yo, I'm Brittnee, you know who. So thank you, Dakaya. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being an amazing, vulnerable example.
Thank you, guys. I really do appreciate it.
RBP, any closing words, my love?
I'm blown away. No, I think I think it's good. I think we're good. How do we say it, Sean? I think we're good.
Good.
We're good. Yeah. It's a challenge until you're just present. And that's it. Just be present. I can't tell you how many times.
Like some of those memes, some of those videos we see where somebody gives them a huge box and there's another box and there's another box. And then it's like, at some point it's like, holy crap, how many more freaking boxes? What's in here? And we get frustrated with opening the present until it's a wedding ring, an engagement ring. And then the excitement comes back. Some of y'all are halfway opening the boxes and you're exhausted. How many more? This is stupid. How many more boxes? Until. And then you get to engage yourself. You become engaged to the you've been looking to marry all along. Go ahead, Ron.
When you asked one question, and this is a question I'd leave everybody with, is when I get out of this thinking that's had me stuck, what will I wrap myself with?
No, I heard that and I'm like, I hope somebody wrote that down because I don't remember that. I've never said that before.
No, I did. That's a good one. We'll talk about that. I'm so thankful for y'all and the love and the breakthroughs and y'all showing up. And these calls were designed a year ago. Sean didn't even realize all of it, and they were designed for these moments for people to show up and have breakthroughs so we can go with you and we can have our own breakthroughs. And Brittnee being bold enough finally to speak up more often, and then was it Chaz and what was her name that just spoke?
Dakaya.
I'm trying to remember.
Dakaya.
Dakaya. Yes, for you guys to show up and start speaking immediately. Y'all bless my heart. So lots of love from East Texas for all y'all. I love y'all. Thank you, Sean, for continuing and being consistent and showing up. And when you show up, you're present, and you're present with each one of us when we talk. You're amazing.
I love y'all. I love y'all. I'm Sean Murphy, founder of Mental Profits. Y'all send some folks your love. Say some I love yous here. I'll see y'all where? At the next event.
Love you guys.
Love you
I love
guys.
you
Have a great day.
guys.
My Misfit family.
Amazing day.
Love y'all. Noah,
Thanks
send me
for
a
an
message. I'll
amazing
send you.
Bye, y'all.
call.
Have a good day.
Awesome.
All right,
All
thank
the
you.
powerful
I love
women
you
on this
guys.
call.
Excellent.
Yeah, Ralph, you know it, buddy. Hey, I
Love
appreciate it.
y'all.
I
Y'all
love
made
you
my day
all.
much brighter.
Love each and every one of you.
Love y'all.
Miss, do you love everybody here? You love everybody here? Say bye, everybody. Say bye, everybody.